30 seconds to go. We're on the Zwift Insider Tiny Race number 2 at 11 o'clock. So if you noticed on that first race of this 11 o'clock series, I really was pushing it out, but I had that knob adjusted a little too high. And I still left it there when I took off on this race. And the last 500 feet, I didn't have a second gear. I'm just putting that spoiler alert out there. We have 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And because I know the race, you know, like I said, 3 seconds, I start kicking the power in so I can back off. But this race was really me pushing the whole pack. I told you this was about take no prisoners on this race. And if I could have pulled this race off, I gotta admit, it would have been epic. Because I'm gonna put the numbers up here, but the difference between this race and the other race, I came in 10th on this when I won the other race this morning. It was because I was tired. But if you notice, I put the watch out the whole time. I'm riding this thing, and I just said, hell with it. I'm just gonna go. I know how long this race is. It's 3.5 miles. I know I can push that, but if I had turned back the wattage if I had turned back the tension on the bike just for a little while I was doing this, I would have had the energy at the end to finish this thing. But I was determined to see how I could push this race if I just stayed balls to the wall, maxed out, going. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just, forget anything else going, I'm just gonna ride this thing out. And I was totally eating myself up. I gotta admit, when I finished this race, I was tired. To the point where I was gonna do the third race and 10 seconds left to start on the third race. And I knew I didn't have nothing. I could race the race, but with the heel, I just didn't have the energy to push out like that. Maybe it would have been a perfect time to go ahead and ride with the pack, but I wasn't in that mindset, so that wasn't gonna happen for me. I was in the mindset of just pushing this thing, and I see him pass me and take off, and all I'm thinking to myself is, but if you can stay up here with me with me running 500 right at 2.5, 2.6 the whole race, stay with me. And for the most part, they did it to the end where you will see what this does cost me when I'm turning. I'm riding it. We still got almost 3 miles left, and my heart rate is already 160 because I have this thing pop. Look at my graph at the bottom. It's all red. It is red and light yellow, a dark yellow. I'm just pushing this thing. I'm determined to push this race. And I didn't realize something. I was pushing everybody. Because when I finished this race, I want to show it. I'm going to make sure I pull it up. When I finished this race, my numbers were better at 10th place than I think it was when I came in first this morning. That's how much adjusting the knob for me over today was about, on Saturday was, wow, I hadn't been doing this. I've only been riding in one gear. One gear. Literally, that's what if you want to put it down to that point. That's all I had been riding in. And so me starting to adjust the power that I had to put into the pedals made a whole big difference for me. And I didn't realize it was going to do that. But I'm not a novice. I'm a novice rider. I'm not one of these experienced super duper dude. Right? You got to understand. Before I got on Zwift, I hadn't rode a bike in probably 35 years. So for me to get on here and start just riding bikes, it's kind of funny. I didn't realize I was going to enjoy it that much. So as we ride, I'm following him and who's in front of me, and we're riding pretty good. None of the guys from the day, you gotta understand, this is 11 o'clock in the afternoon, so by now I am tired. Like I said, I did the Zwift chat after I did the 4 rides this morning. I did another little ride just to start filling up my miles. And so I was tired. And then I had did the one before this one where I maxed myself out the whole time. So what I tried to do simply was, when we came over hills, I tried to rest a little bit, but with them hitting the anvil blocks, it caused me to kind of try to stay ahead. Plus, I couldn't come off enough just to cool down, and that what really took it out of me. I was burnt. Think about it, I got 2 miles left and I'm at 163 on the heart rate. And I should have came off that knob and just bagged it off 3/4 or maybe a whole turn so I could actually gain my energy back and give me a chance to kind of rest up, but I was determined to stay where I was. And if I had just backed back for a few minutes and let myself cool down, I probably been fine. But you see, my heart rate's not even slowing. It's just slowly ticking up and up and up. I think when I looked at the overall thing, I think my heart rate hit it rose for 180 at some point. And so I was ticking up because I was playing with this knob. But I do see now there are ways that I can, as I get stronger at this, and as I keep riding Zwift and adjusting my power, or adjusting my knob tension and how much power I'm putting out, I see myself being able to ride with the C's. At first, I didn't see it. That's what the issue was. I knew eventually I was gonna get there, but I just could not see how. I was thinking, man, at least a year. But this actually does give me an idea that, hey, man, maybe at 6 months, I probably, in first of the year, maybe I can move up. And so that's what I'm thinking about a lot now, because it's not about just winning the races. It's just me. This race was about me finding that spot where I can just keep hammering it out. And as we come around, we got this little, I remember this morning, since I knew most of the race, it wasn't a real big mystery to me. And I knew how to just keep my power in and how to keep going. But like I said earlier, 160 is where I started really getting tired if I stay in that area too long. And I've been sitting at 160 for almost half this race. I think I ended up sitting up that high for almost 3/4 of this race, and that's just too long for me right now to sit that high. Because if you look at my thing, I am tired. If you look at my picture, I'm tired. You can look at my picture and tell I'm tired. And because everybody else keeps trying to catch up to me, you know, I keep pushing myself. And I know why they're doing it, because they saw what happened on the first one, and I just kept rolling. And I mean on the first one, and I just kept rolling. So I know they see that, so they're trying to stay with me and ride with me. Now I know it's coming up on the 2 bike statues up there that's the end of the race, but man, I gotta admit, I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna stay with them. I know when we pass that little shack, I'm gonna start putting the power in. And I know if you saw the race this morning, which I'm gonna post these 2 back to back, you'll see the race this morning when I passed that little shack, that little red dotted line on the ground, I put the power in and just kept going. And I rolled myself up to 700, I think almost 800 watts. So as we come around here, I know in my head, all I'm thinking about is, I got this now. This is my race. When I get past that shack, I'm just gonna put in 700-800 horses, and I'm just gonna power through this thing. And that's all I'm thinking to myself. I'm just gonna power mass monster this thing out. I'm just gonna power through it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, I got this. This is not gonna be a problem. We're gonna make it through this. And as I come up on it, I'm feeling myself getting tired and tired. And you look at my heart rate, I'm at 170. I mean, 167 now. I'm almost at 170. And here go the shack where I put the power in, and I'm just gonna hammer this thing up to 700 and hold it out to the end of the race. As I said, I'm gonna hit 700, I'm gonna hold it out to the end of the race. That's all I'm thinking to myself. I'm gonna hit 700, and I'm gonna hold it out to the end of the race. I'm gonna win this race with some crazy numbers. 700, and as you see, I'm not hitting 700. The pedals are going up. I'm at 600, but I'm coming back down. I'm exhausted. I gotta admit, I hit a wall. I hit a wall right there. I was gone. And it's hard to believe somebody's going, I'm putting out 600 watts, I'm going, I need to be in the 700-800s to win this race. I could not. I told my wife, I said, with 500 feet left, I went from number 1 to number 10th. And she was like, what? I said, you can see me in this car. You can see me, I don't have to watch. If I could have kept 700, I would have won this race. I have no power left. I have nothing. And I'm just pushing and my heart rate is 173. I am gone. And so I had to admit to myself on this one time, I'm not giving up, but I gotta stop pushing. I just gotta go ahead and get through this race, focus in on the next one. My heart rate is 170. I'm 10 heart rates above where I normally go, this is hard. I am tired. And you can see me right now, I'm exhausted, man. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I was gonna get that tired. Plus, I gotta remember, I'm not used to riding all day long, so that was one of the things that got me on here. And so after this race, I realized I didn't have the energy for another one. I really didn't. So I went ahead and stopped after this one. Next time, I may wait later on in the day, but the next one is not until 5 o'clock. Thank y'all for watching this race. Thank y'all for being there, supporting, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Ride on.